Good morning. It's a lovely May day here. A little brisk this morning. It's only going up to about 60 today. We're here in Maryland. It's another episode of 1973 GMC Motorhome. Let's start de-winterizing this thing. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to drain the freshwater holding tank, and we're going to take that antifreeze and we're going to pour it down our toilet. And what we're going to do is all our antifreeze is going to go into the holding tank until we have clean water coming out of here, and then we're going to drive to the dump station and dump it all there out of the holding tank. What I don't have, and what I wish I did have, was some clean containers to reuse this, because this is probably 5 gallons of antifreeze in here that I'm gonna have to buy next year. But anyway, I'm gonna open this valve. I hear it draining. So let's go make sure we're actually draining into the bucket out there. And there we are, draining into the bucket. So when this bucket gets full and that thing gets empty, I will then pour this antifreeze down the toilet, so it will go into the holding tank, and then I will begin to hook up a hose to my freshwater tank and kind of just flush it out, and that water can drain on the ground, because I mean there might be a drop of antifreeze left, but we're just going to run it until it's completely clear in that tank. Yeah, so okay, let's drain. So we're draining. So what I really need to do, because of the way this is in the tank here, you've got more towards the back than towards the front. So I need to reposition the motorhome so that this is the lowest point. This is getting rather full, so I'm gonna dump this into the holding tank and then we'll continue to drain. Okay, so in its current position, we're not all out yet. So we gotta move it, turn this valve back off. We've drained out as much as we can. We're gonna find a different location so we can drain the rest of this. Okay, now I have the water all, that's the back, that's the front. So it's all coming to the front. And if you see how I've got my, well, you can't see. Let's take this bucket out of here. I'm a little bit off the driveway, leaning towards this and headed down the driveway, so I should be able to drain the rest of this out of here. All right, so this is also draining it. I'm basically using the pump, and it's also going into the holding tank without draining it. I don't want to get it down to where the pump isn't primed, but I don't know if this is going to work quick or not, but obviously this would be a logical way to do it. Just use the battery and pump to pump out all the pink water. So that's what's happening. We're pumping away, but we're gonna get low. I don't want to suck air with that pump, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off now. Once you get past a certain age, this sound can make you have to go to the bathroom. We are still draining. Okay, so you can see at that corner of the tank, we are clean. There's our last little bit draining out there. I don't know how much more we're gonna be able to get. And down there, you can't really see it, but we're empty down in that corner. So I still hear it a little bit, but what we're going to do next is we're going to pull this over to where the hose is, and we're going to begin to fill this, and then just leave that open. A little bit of antifreeze will go on the ground, but dilution is the solution to pollution. And in this case, that's what's going to happen. There's going to be such an infinitesimal amount of non-toxic antifreeze. I don't think it will harm anything. And we'll drain it onto the driveway, and it can disperse out there, and then the alcohol can evaporate. The chemicals will whatever else is in there will less likely go in the grass. Let's see if we're done draining. I just hear it a little bit, but I'm gonna go and just, might as well let as much come out as is gonna come out. All right, that's pretty much completely empty. There's a drop left in there, but anyway, let's go dilute it. Okay, so I've got my camper the way I want it. I'm gonna drop this side a little more by lowering the airbags. And then my airbags are all just manual. And I have a device that I will introduce. Let's drop this down. All right, now we've got this side leaning this way up so the tank will fully drain. When I fill this back up, I'm going to show you something neat. Okay, let's turn this on, and then we'll turn this on. So we're going to get that pink water out of there. What's happening now is I've got the tank has got some water in it, but you can see this level here. It looks darker than it is, but what we're going to do is we're going to clean out our sink and get that to be kind of clear, and then we're going to fill this back up again, and then we'll run it one more time just to make, we're going to drain this again and then refill it. So this water's clean, but what we have to do is we got to get that hot water tank empty. And we go to hot water, we got a lot of pink. In fact, there's 6 gallons of pink in there. So we're just going to let that run. Actually, I should probably just do it from the bathroom. Let's go back to cold water. There's our clean cold water line. Let's go into here. Here's our pump shutting off because it's building pressure. And we'll just crack the hot. Whoops, our shower was on. Because that was probably the last thing that I did. I showered this place. So yeah, we gotta basically run some water through the hot water heater. Until it clears out. And I guess I'll turn the hose on so we don't, I don't like that. That's not fun. It's a little annoying, but I'm not really using the hot water so much. But we gotta get this tank drained. So let me turn the hose back on so we don't run out of incoming water. Here's the light on. I guess what I could have done is, maybe what I should have done, rather than do all that, is pull all this crap out and drain that tank, because it really needs to dilute. But I mean, this is just easier. Let's see something here. So my tank drain is back there. Probably could and should have just drained it first. So maybe I will do that. That probably makes more sense, right? Just to drain it, because then we're constantly diluting. We really should get everything out of here and then dilute. There's our hot water tank draining. Doesn't really look very pink, but we'll just let it all drain out, and then we'll let it fill it back up again. Meanwhile, we're still adding water. Just trying to flush this out. Huh. Could that be 6 gallons? I don't think so. Anyway, I'm gonna close that back up and try again. Okay, we're almost coming out clean. Let's see. That's our cold water. Let's get rid of that pink in there and see. Let's go back to our hot. I think that looks pretty good. Still a teeny tinge of pink in there, but I think it's in the hot water heater. And quite frankly, we're not using any hot water on this next trip. Not that we want to shower in slightly non-toxic antifreeze. Let's go back in here because this is closer to the source. And it's still kind of pink. I don't understand why it didn't drain out of the hot water heater. I'm going to try that one more time. Because all we're doing is just diluting this in the hot water heater. So I'm going to see if I can get to the bottom of why that didn't drain. Okay, so the reason it stopped draining, which is a good thing, is that with my hot water closed, it's not allowed to get any air. If you listen, that's not drawing air in through there. So, important step: to drain hot water tank, we must open hot water. Now let's see what it's looking like out there. Should be draining. There it is. Now, I should come back in 5 minutes and it should probably still be draining because it's 5 gallons. Or 6 gallons actually. So let's let that do it for a minute. There it is. We're just waiting for stuff to drain. What a beautiful day. I'm looking forward to getting in it soon, driving it to the dump station to dump out the antifreeze out of the holding tank. That'll be coming up. A watch water tank never drains. This has been going on for about 10 minutes now, so we know that before, I mean, this is the way to drain it. We're gonna get this whole 6 gallons out of here. Hopefully it fills up quicker than it drains. 10 minutes later. Okay, I think we are done. I will now close that up and then we will fill it again. Yes, it sounds empty. All right, let's turn our pump on, turn our hot water on. Now, here's the question. That's cold, we got nothing, because it's got to fill up that tank. So my question is if this is running on full blast, that pump, then however long this takes to fill that tank is technically however long it should take to go through 6 gallons of hot water. So however long that takes, I imagine, is however long of a shower you could take. This is a theory, so we'll see. So after a minute, I realized that I had left that drain valve open. I've since closed it. My tank is completely empty again, which is good because now we've double flushed it. So now I'm going to start filling it back up again. Okay, now we're filling back up again. And while we're filling up, we are going to reinflate the airbag. Now, at some point I need to hook up the compressor and do all this, but what I got here, actually I should say what Michelle got, is this thing. So let's open this up and I'm going to show you what this is and what it does. This is this Fantic S100 Apex. This is a little air compressor. And like everything else nowadays, you charge it up with your USB. But the beauty of this thing is, there's your little hose, is it will inflate up to 150 pounds. Now, I like to run my airbags at about 75, 80 pounds. So I'm going to hook this up to here. I'm going to screw this on. And then we turn this on. It'll tell me what I have in here now because I just lowered it. Last year, I brought a pancake compressor with me, thinking I was very smart. I had the pancake compressor and then had my inverter to run the pancake compressor. Watch the, oh, there we go. So that's saying I got 60 pounds in there. So now I've got it set at 100 PSI. How do we start this thing? Nope, that's not what we want. Let's bring it up to what we want it at, which is going to be... Nope, keep coming. Oh, because I probably need to be... definitely not a basketball. All right, I had to hold it. right, let's go to 79. Now, how do you start this thing? That's the flashlight. Now, I've done this once before. There's that flashlight again. Turn that off. Now shut it off. What a great demonstration. All right, I'm going to figure out where the on button is. All right, I figured it out. So we'll be able to watch that push out at a certain point once we reach a certain amount of pressure. Slowly, but it's happening. Whoops. Okay, so the starting and stopping is just a quick press of that button. Anyway, here we go. We're going to get up to 75 psi. All right, so that's it. So now my airbag's all pumped back up again, and I'm off and ready to go. And this thing takes up zero space at all. So now I've got the city water, or the water from my hose basically, going into the side of the camper to fill up my tank. You can hear the air being forced out of the hot water tank. I didn't hear that air coming out with the 12-volt pump, and I think that thing seems like it loses its prime or something. I don't understand why exactly, but we're going to get all this working with the city water, plus I need to flush out that last little bit of antifreeze in that. So let's do this. Okay, so there's our city water going through. That's cold, that's both, that's hot. Let's turn that off. Let's turn off the water. Okay. Hear the thing kick on. So this pump always needs to be bled, and the way I do that is I need to take off this hose here, and I don't know why I have to do that, but I take this hose off, turn it on, the water goes, squirts out, and then it's fine. But if this runs out of water and it runs dry, then there's a whole process to getting it going again. But anyway, so that's done. So I can button this thing up. Well, we're driving to the dump station. It's very exciting. This is very near our house. We didn't realize there was a dump station here. It's this rest area in 1 mile. It's not 1 mile from the house, it's maybe 10 miles, but beautiful day. It's about 62 or 63 outside. It feels absolutely fantastic in here. Anyway, so this is a rest stop. I've never heard of a rest stop with a free dump station, but that shows you how little camping we've done. So anyway, so let's go pull in here and check it out. Are you filming? Okay, check it out. There's pink water, which is all our antifreeze coming out. What's weird is I opened the back one and it started coming out. So my valve here must be open, which I'm going to check. Alright, now you see it coming out more. That valve was half open. I must have done that when I winterized it earlier. So, anyway, so very good. And this place is, I'm getting hand sanitized, just in case anybody thinks I wouldn't sanitize my hands after a hand like this, then I'll do it again. So this is just great that this place is so close. This is extremely convenient. So that takes care of that.
on northbound 95, north of the 216 exit. If any other campers need to dump their stuff, it's north of Washington, D.C., between Washington and Baltimore.
Okay, so here's a brand new Jupiter 5,000 watt inverter that I got at Harbor Freight for $350 because my other one took a crap, probably from either dealing with all of the shorting that was going on. A couple of times it went into overload, or because it's back in this area that's moist and maybe it got wet. This one will have this. I noticed this was a little damp, so probably not a good place to have this. So we're gonna relocate it, but for this camping trip that's supposed to be sunny, it's gonna be there. So let's make sure we got power back in here now. Let's see here. Yep. All right, so that's good. There's your 120. All right, so I guess we're gonna call that good. All right, now I need to get this generator out so we can check it out. Old one, the overload light was coming on, it was doing nothing. We do see some rust down here, so my guess is that inside has been compromised, and there's the new one, but I am going to figure out a drier place to move this to. But again, for right now, we're gonna leave it where it is because that's where it reaches the battery. Or I can just better make that area drier, you know, so anyway. Okay, so it's gonna be unboxing time. Generator. Again, this is the, what is this? Was it 3,600 watts? Yeah, 3,600 watts. I mean, that's a lot of watts for a little generator if it's real watts. So anyway, let me get this out of here. All right, so in this bag, I've taken the air filter cover off. There's our oil fill. We have our oil, which interesting looks like it's not a full quart. So I guess that's exactly how much you're using here. And we have, looks like a spark plug tool and wrench to get the air filter off. And they even give you a funnel. Let's put some oil on this thing. Anyway, I assumed as much, but basically you want to add the oil and remove the dipstick, and basically somewhere it says here that it's a half a liter, and then that is exactly half a liter that they supply you with. So we're going to pour all that in. So now I got fuel and oil in it, and it really wants me to ground it. In the manual it says a bunch of times there's a ground lug right there. So it might make sense, since we're going to be running it back there. I mean, this way the exhaust is blowing back. It's still not 10 feet away, so I'll have to make a separate grounding rod, because now the thing has said ground it so many damn times. I'm gonna always have to ground it because I'm OCD like that. So let me find a ground on here and hook a wire to it. I just need to, maybe I can catch one of the backside of one of these bumper bolts. Yeah, that feels about the right size. So I'll make a little ground real quick. All right, so I just put a self tapper through there, which actually drilled right through it, and there it is. So that is now grounded. And if I just want to put a nut and a bolt on there later, that's fine, but that's not going anywhere. So now we'll ground it to the front of this. Okay. Officially grounded. There is vacuuming going on here. And the power is not coming from our generator, which is not running right now because I just finished grounding it. It's coming from our inverter. So let's see what the inverter is doing. And the inverter is saying that we're using some watts. It's a very large scale. So I'll have to figure out what each one of those is. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, roughly 10 of them. And if it's 5,000 watts, that's half is 2,500, and one unit is 50 watts. So that's using 100 watts right now. All right, 100 watts. Okay, so while Michelle is vacuuming, we are going to start this. And we're going to go fuel, we're going to go to choke, and we'll go to run. So I'm not going to, I wonder if I can set this thing up. I need to get a tripod next. Okay, so it took 2 pulls. It started up. I put it on run. Now we're running. Let's see if anything. Doesn't sound too bad. That's very tolerably quiet. The dripping there is water that was in the what do you call it? The rail there, the carrier thing. All right, let's go inside and get a sound level inside. Our exhaust coming out the back. I don't see how actually. I mean, certainly driving down the road, that's not going to be an issue. Can you turn that vacuum off for 1 second? I'm just curious to hear how loud this is. Well, you can definitely feel it because it's literally on the motorhome, so you feel a little bit of vibration in the floor, and you would definitely hear that at night. But I guess if you're running the air conditioning during the day, you don't really care. So I'm going to let Michelle get back to the vacuum. All right, I'm going to shut this off. When you have the fuel off, it'll run the fuel out of the carburetor. I kind of think that's what you want it to do. That way there's no fuel in the carburetor. Anyway, we're going to shut it off, but yes, you would put fuel off and then you would let it run. And then it would suck that fuel out of there, which I think is great. So we got to get a couple extra cords here, and then we can hook this up and see how this runs the AC. My 30 amp cord hooked up. It's going in there. Obviously, if we're traveling, we're going to tie it up better, but we're going to test this thing now. There's some kind of bumblebee bee. I just turn it right to run. Okay, now the air conditioning's running. We got 110 volts over there. Now we're going to go see what the generator says. I would imagine we don't want to vacuum for a second. So let me just look at the generator, and then I'll come back, and then you can start to vacuum. It doesn't really sound any different under a load. So this is essentially running the generator right now. Says it's using 50% of its power, so you want to turn the vacuum on, and you probably shouldn't run them both. What the hell? Go ahead.
Is it gonna blow it?
I don't know. I guess we'll go easy on it, but we know the AC works. So I'm gonna turn the AC off, and she can run the vacuum. Okay, so the AC's off. There's a vacuum. You hear the generator kick up for a second when it starts, but then it settles right back down. So, anyway, generator passed the test, inverter passed the test. We're going to put the inverter back together, and then, because we got plenty of solar going on right now, we don't need to listen to that noise. So, we're getting ready to go on a trip, which is why we're doing all this. So I guess that's probably the end of this video. We, so far, like our WEN 3600 inverter generator. like that so far. So anyway, I'm gonna hook everything back up. Kind of just wiped a shit ton of crap off these solar panels. Oh, there's my footprint already. It's very dirty. We need every little bit. Solar panel. Sun's up there. So we're sitting this one pretty good. This one a little bit blocked. Get ready for our first trip of 2024. Here's your panels. Gives you an idea of the size of them. Okay. I'll go for walkie? Come on. Come on. Yeah, we're gonna go for walkie. That's what we're gonna do next. Even though this was supposed to be the end of the video, might as well go for walkie. Look how long a wolfhound is. Very long. He's a long fellow. Okay, Finny, sit. Yes, good boy. Okay, Finn, lie down. Yes, what a good boy. That's a very good boy. Finn, stay. That's a good boy. I think he knew it was coming after the SIT. He started doing it even before I said it. So anyway, it's the end of another day. Gotten a lot of stuff done. And we had a day before all this. Come on, Finny. And I guess that's it. I guess I'm not sure what we're gonna do next on this thing. But it's gonna be something. We might go back to the farmhouse video. So until the next time, see you later.